Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com.
Your path to e-commerce success starts right here. You're listening to Practical E-commerce, the podcast for e-commerce results.
Welcome back to another Practical E-commerce podcast. My name is Brian Getting, and this is a podcast that's sort of supplemental to our October issue of the magazine. This one is an interview that Mitch Bettis had with the gentlemen that own AuctionCheckout.com, which their names, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, are John Waldron and Sloane Bouchever, something along those lines. They acquired the company in mid-July, which is AuctionCheckout.com is sort of an alternative payment gateway system. It allows somebody to have one merchant account, but also be able to use it on their e-commerce site or integrate it into eBay or Overstock or something like that. So there's no need for multiple payment channels. But again, Mitch Bettis, our contributing editor, had a chance to speak with both John and Sloane, and I'm going to turn it over to Mitch and them and talking about AuctionCheckout.com.
What do you see as Auction Checkout's role in this large e-commerce landscape? Is it, at its essence, an alternative to PayPal?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an alternative to PayPal, but that's just one component of really why the system is so powerful. I mean, to be able to basically, as we see what you could consider and we would consider small to mid-sized merchants branch into sales on auction environments like eBay and Overstock, Auction Checkout of the core technology basically enables them to use their existing e-commerce infrastructure and offer an automated checkout process directly from within their auctions that go through their existing merchant account or payment gateway. And that's what we call Auction Checkout Blue. And so if someone is, selling on whatever web server and they decided to go and venture into eBay or Overstock or any other seller's platform out there, Auction Checkout can be used as a way to basically get their customer to pay in an automated fashion directly from the auction. The system is communicating with the APIs of eBay and Overstock to basically calculate and give the customer a checkout page that includes the shipping and total end-of-auction amount that they won the auction for, along with any additionals like insurance or taxes or anything else like that. And there's all kinds of calls going back and forth between the auction checkout system and those platforms. And so the seller can basically use whatever existing e-commerce structure they have along with the auction checkout system and not have to funnel their customers off to some third-party system like PayPal that they might not be familiar with.
One of the things that caught my eye about reading about Auction Checkout and how it differentiates from PayPal is that, one, there are no frozen funds. You're in control of your money during this process, and there is no third party that's in control of those funds.
Yeah, like a PayPal in a PayPal environment today, basically if you're selling, the funds from your transactions are going into your PayPal account. Well, PayPal is not a financial institution in the sense that, they can freeze those funds and make decisions based on anything that's going on within your account. This is basically an auction checkout technology that will fund directly to your local checking account based on whoever your merchant account processor is. Understanding that there's two parts to auction checkout. There's blue, which we've kind of been talking about now, and then there's gold. And gold is basically where we provide a beginning-to-end e-commerce package for them, including the merchant account gateway and auction checkout technology. The blue is where they're using their existing merchant account and gateway that they might already have in place.
So, for example, Mitch, there's a couple 100,000 authorized net users and a couple 100,000 VeriSign users and a couple 100,000 link point users who are all e-commerce enabled, selling on their websites, or at least attempting to sell on their websites. They already have an e-commerce merchant account from any one of hundreds of resellers of those merchant accounts, and they already have an e-commerce enabled gateway. Auction Checkout is fully integrated into about 8 different of the payment gateways. So let's say there's probably 600,000 merchants in the marketplace who are trying to sell on their websites right now who can't get to eBay unless they use PayPal or unless they acquire a full auction management solution. And there are plenty of these auction management solutions in the marketplace, like Andale, Zuvi, MarketWorks, Channel Advisor, and the list goes on, that are much more large, full packages that may be replicating the website that the merchant already has at their current web server. What Auction Checkout does is enable the merchant who currently has an e-commerce merchant account and payment gateway to connect to Auction Checkout to make that very simple but very important final real-time checkout when the auction gets won on eBay and Overstock and several other marketplaces. So without having to go buy a whole nother large package of an auction management solution, you're taking your existing e-commerce infrastructure, just simply adding the checkout piece, pulling the APIs out of eBay, and allowing you to sell on eBay. Very simply.
So Gold would actually be the package that we would say is an alternative to PayPal, because Gold is pretty much providing them everything that they would need to sell on this auction a platform, but basically be using this as the checkout system completely within the Gold package, which would include the merchant account and gateway.
Well, because you're using merchant accounts, existing merchant accounts with Blue, or perhaps a new merchant account with Gold, if there is a dispute on payment, we have a more honest third party kind of mediating that dispute. Is that a correct assessment there?
Absolutely. One of the things that we've always said, and what our customers have told us, and not only from this channel but from other channels, is basically that the problem is that within PayPal is that basically PayPal represents both the buyer and the seller. So they have a dual interest in each transaction. And basically that's become a point of concern for a lot of sellers, because they don't really feel that they're getting the best representation in a dispute. Where in this system, basically, the customer is being represented by the merchant processor, who does not represent the buyer. They just represent the seller only.
And I read a little bit about an invoicing system, another way to kind of get paid, so to speak. What is that function?
Basically, the invoicing system would allow a customer to go in and send an invoice manually out to a customer that might relate into additional add-on sales or anything like that might have came through either a phone conversation or anything like that the merchant might have with their end-user customer. Also, just could be not even related to the auction channel, but just a general invoicing system that, if you have a purchase that comes in and you want to basically send the customer an invoice for this specific purchase, then you can send it and have them, have an automated secure checkout page that they can come and pay that has the total amount of the invoice specific to a phone conversation or however that order might have been placed.
So actually, the invoicing system, that's really a good point, Mitch, because, of course, every payment gateway includes a virtual terminal. And the virtual terminal is great for taking a phone order. You call me and you say, hey, I'd like to buy your widget. Here's my credit card number. I open the virtual terminal. I key enter the transaction. The invoicing system is really an add-on. It comes as part of the auction checkout service. But basically, if you were to say, hey, I want to buy your widget, when you're ready to ship, go ahead and invoice me. So instead of calling you on the phone and saying, okay, I need your credit card number, I would send you an invoice basically saying your widget's just been shipped, here's the checkout and invoicing information, and then you would go in like a single usage shopping cart, and you, as the buyer, would key enter the transaction instead of me as a seller taking it over the phone through the virtual terminal.
Well, how about rates? Is auction checkout's rates less than those of its peers, or how does it fare? Why should I make a change to, or why should I use auction checkout if I'm evaluating rates?
Sure. We can talk about the Gold package. And in the Gold package, the merchant account rates are basically 2.19% and 29 cents a transaction. And that point is basically what we are offering to a merchant on the entry level. And that is actually below the lowest point of pricing from our understanding of the PayPal Payments Pro system that basically has tiered levels of processing where it starts out at 2.90% and 30 cents a transaction and then drops down as your volume increases in sales. And as it relates to the Blue, then basically the customer is just paying a monthly service fee for use of the auction checkout Blue package, but the e-commerce or the merchant account fees they would be paying with their existing processor would apply.
In addition to using it in an auction environment like an eBay or an Overstock or any of those other kind of auction and selling environments, can I integrate that into my sales website that perhaps isn't an auction site?
Absolutely. And that's one of the nice things about this package is basically if you sign up for Gold, what you're getting is Authorize.net with the auction checkout Gold package, but it's a private labeled version of that system. And so basically you instantly have access to over 500 integrated shopping carts to this system. So you could be using it in a virtual terminal environment where you're key entering transactions that come in manually. You could use the invoicing side to send out invoices. You could use it integrated directly within your eBay and Overstock auctions as an automated checkout system, and then you can connect it up to your standard e-commerce structure that you might have using any type of shopping cart that's already integrated with AuthorizeNet.
Once again, that was John Waldron and Sloane Bouchever of AuctionCheckout.com. Again, go to their website to find out more information about the payment gateway system. And also, we'd like to thank them for taking the time to speak with us.